if you guys can tell me who has run these types of ads before, who hasn't, who has maybe a little bit of experience or no experience.
I'll start signs there being super shy. I have zero experience with Facebook
No
ads.
problem. Okay.
So we might need to, take it easy on me, take it little
Okay.
by little and step by step.
We can go, we will do this as a total basics class then. So, okay, what I am logged into is, I am logged into Facebook's Business Manager. And this is the ads platform, the ad manager. So you would need to, this is a page that you can log into for free. You can make an account for free.
How do you log into there?
Okay.
How do I get there? Thank you.
So if you go to Business Manager, whoops a daisy, that's not gonna work. Hang on. So usually I say that you would want to log into this or make make one of these here first.
I don't have that.
Okay.
To make one of those?
You want to make a Facebook Business Manager profile page, or basically like log into a basic Facebook Business Manager.
I have this. And this business Facebook.
It's a business Facebook page, yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to log, it's going to be separate from that, yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to log into Facebook Business Manager. And this is what my homepage looks like when I log into that. It says, hi, Lily, because I'm running things under Lily on this page.
So that's the way it should look?
Well, when you log into this one, it does, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't really see your, I wear glasses and I'm a little too far away, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, that's just your basic Facebook page. So you would need to create a business manager page.
So that would be.
Type in into your Google Facebook Business Manager, and then it'll let you create a profile.
Google Facebook Manager.
Mhm. I would just type it into Google and let Google take you there.
Okay.
Does anybody at home have this operation already, guys? Have any of you guys run ads before?
Facebook Manager app.
Facebook Business Manager.
Facebook Business Manager.
You say suite.
This one.
Yep. Create.
Overview.
I'll scroll down past the ads and maybe like right down there. Create your business manager.
This one.
Yeah.
Hi, Milton. How can we help? You got my
Oh,
information.
okay. Maybe you have it already. Create an ad.
Oh, that's my son's on. We have a team.
Okay.
And then my son has, that's not my son, this is my son.
Nice.
I already have this, but I want to have my own.
Go back.
Oh,
Hit that down arrow. Don't do that. Okay. Go to that drop down. Go to that one, create and manage. No, sorry. Go try again. Business manager. Go back to the home page right there. Okay. So hit create an ad, see if that gets us somewhere. So this is not where it ends up sending me. How the hell do you get to log in? I just have it as a favorite, so I always go right into it.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, you already created. Yo.
Let's try something else. Those of you guys at home, how are you guys doing so far? Have you guys been able to log in?
Can we have verbal confirmation, please? Have we been able to log in? No, I see Nudi's going no. Rosario,
No, darling, me entra a mi página de Facebook y luego me dice Facebook
Mine doesn't
Business
kick me in here.
Suite.
You know what the problem is? There's a lot of different versions of Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how about Mercedes, Melissa, and Betty? How are we doing? How we being able to log in? Arlene, how are we being able to log in?
Just go this way.
Okay.
I just go to Facebook and anything. What else after that?
I'm fine with me.
Oh, I think I
Can
got
we
it.
repeat how to get there,
My
please?
Facebook got 3 business.
I got it.
Brian, can we repeat how to get
Sure,
there?
so I already have mine made up already, so you want to go to Facebook Business Manager? If you can log yourself into that?
And you have to go from Google, not from the Facebook page that you already have?
I go in from Google, just because I already have it like as a favorite. Okay, this is it. Hang on.
We got the same.
Okay, once we get
This
Facebook
is it
for
here.
business, do we say, do we
Okay.
go to get started?
That's it.
That's
That,
it?
you got it, yeah.
So now you just make one up.
I mean, you can do that if you want. You can just,
Wait,
you can just stay from right there,
Yeah.
and we'll get everybody else caught up.
Get started?
Probably. You may have to do like two-factor authentication. It maybe do that last time, or else when let me run the.
Nahari,
Okay.
I went to my Facebook page,
Yeah.
and when it
You
says
can X out all that stuff.
more
Give
tools,
yourself a little more room to work.
Mhm.
in more
All these things
tools,
here.
you
can have
find
You mean this?
Ad
No, just-
Manager,
These?
Ad
Okay.
Manager. And then I
Perfect.
get the same page.
Okay.
Perfect. So we heard what, I'm gonna say that was Rosario who found it.
Yeah.
Rosario went to more tools in her Facebook page within your own
Right.
Facebook page, and then you click on Ad Manager. So it
Yep.
will take you directly to the same place that Brian is on.
And you
Okay,
click
I
on
need,
Ads
Let's try that
Manager.
instead.
And this is the page you want to be able to get to. This is the page we're going to do most of the work through. Most of the learning is going to be on this page. So remember, the class is recorded, and you can always come back and get caught up on it later. Oh, let me see if I can get this off the screen a little bit. Okay. So think of it this way. We're going to focus on these 3 tabs, right? The campaigns, the ad set, and the ad. The ad gets broken down into 3 different categories, or 3 different parts of the ad, right? So if we were to hit create, and let's just click traffic, because we'll do a basic one.
When I hit create, stays kind of like green.
Traffic. Okay, going on traffic. Select traffic.
Oh, and this account disabled.
That has been disabled. You're gonna need a different account now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Sometimes Facebook can be a real pest like that, for sure.
Oh, wow.
I've had my ad accounts disabled before. Sometimes you have to request that they re-enable them, or you have to wait 2 weeks, or it could be, who knows why that happened. Sometimes it's a mistake, that happens too. Okay, guys, so just for the sake of moving through the curriculum a little bit here. So why don't we, I'm just gonna rename this, right?
Name your campaign.
I'm gonna rename the campaign. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight that and I'm gonna rename the ad set and I'm gonna rename the ad as well. That may not come into play very much right now, but it will on future classes. So I just do that. When I start coming in here to work and to build an ad, I do all of that. But why don't we go over basically what it is that we're looking at here? So, okay. So we are going to be running a real estate ad, right? And so Facebook has this thing here, special ads categories. And if we do not click on this and then click on the drop down and go and click on housing, then we will not be able to get our ads approved. We have to click on this here, okay? So, and then this is gonna be auction. This is not gonna give us any other options. It's only gonna give us this one. This option here for traffic is if we wanted to change the type of ad, which we don't need to. And we're gonna leave this alone. And then we're gonna click on CBO, campaign budget optimization. And we can add our budget in here. And this is a personal type of a choice, however much you really wanna run at these ads. The more you run at them, the better they perform. Sometimes you can run 10 bucks a day and get nothing out of them. It may not be enough money depending on, what's going on in the marketplace on Facebook and how much the competition is charging or how much competition is being run at the marketplace right now. So keep this in mind. This is in this tab, and this tab are the exact same things as this one, and this one. Okay. So the first part of the ad is the type of ad that it is, right? It's a traffic ad. The second tab, just stay with me here, is who is going to be seeing it, right? Because this is going to be our audiences here. We will get to all of this and the locations. And this is who is seeing it. And on the third part, it's the creative, it's what they're actually seeing. Okay, this is the graphic design and all of our creative work gets done on this side. And the ad can go wrong in either place here. We can do some things in here that make the ad not work as well. And we can do some things in here to make the ad not work really at all, actually. And there's going to be a couple of places in here that make the ad work better than others at times. So let's just go to the top of the page here, right? I have renamed the ad set. Facebook is asking us, what is the destination for this ad? It is going to be a website. We don't really have an app to install, unless you have an app that you want them to do. A lot of times, some businesses run their whole business through an app, and it'll direct them to the App Store, iTunes Store, and then it'll download right there. If you want to run it to Messenger and WhatsApp, I know that there are some realtors that have gotten some good results running ads to both of these as well. We're going to leave this alone for now. We're not really running an offer. We're not really running like 50% off t-shirts until Sunday at midnight type of a. As far as the budget goes and as far as the scheduling goes, I turn mine on indefinitely. I run them 24 hours a day, and that's the way I leave it. But this is where we can get a little bit more creative with this, right? Is when we start to look at the audience tab. Okay. So if you guys have an audience already, like a database that you have that you've been working with, you can upload that here and run ads directly to only your database. But this class is kind of designed for maybe a newer realtor that doesn't have a database. And the purpose of these ads is to build a database so you can then run more of like branding ads to them. But for the purposes of this, we're going to run like a lead generation ad. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come to locations. There's a lot of tiny little menus in here that are almost hiding, so to speak. And so it's up to us to find them sometimes, right? So Facebook, as a default, has it set up where we are running it at the continental United States, but we don't want to do that. You guys are not licensed in the United States, right? So when I click the X there, it's going to give me the map. And what I can do is I can scroll in. And we're in Orlando, right? And so let's just keep it super simple. I'm going to click on drop pin and drop the pin right there. All right. And so, hang on a second, let's move this over. So, forgive me, just trying to sort this out here. Okay. So when I put that pin here, we're going to focus on a couple of different things. It gives us the size of our audience, right? And within this circle, there's 1.9 million people. Oh yeah, one other thing. So Facebook also gives us the option to run this at people who are living or recently in the location. It gives us, we can separate that as well, people who only live in this location, and then people who have recently been in the location, or people who have been traveling to this location. Like they're coming from further than 120 miles, right? So like if you wanted to run ads for vacation rentals to people only at Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, this would probably be the right tab for that, right? But if you were looking to do listings or something, it probably is this one. And the reason why is that you have a lot of people that work in these areas within the bubble, but live out here. And we're going to sort the people out anyway in a minute. But this is a pretty decent sized bubble. And just backtracking a little bit here. Remember when we came over here and did this whole housing thing, and we let Facebook know that we are indeed running a housing ad? When we did that, what happened is Facebook removed some of these options here. I'll show you what I mean. Facebook removed the option to, and it limits the radius on our circle. We can make it bigger than 15 miles and make it bigger, but we cannot make it any more narrow than 15. This is the smallest bubble that we can run now. Also, because we're running a Facebook, a real estate ad, we cannot run to a zip code. Zip codes are unavailable now. This is an upgrade from the last year or two, maybe 2 years. So we can't run it at a zip code, and we can only run it at this bubble. Furthermore, we cannot change our ages. We are stuck with an 18 to 65. Also, we cannot change gender. So I don't know if you guys remember, some years ago, Zuckerberg got in trouble. He had to go to the Supreme Court and talk to the Senate and all that. And what they had determined was that all of these really fancy real estate ads that we had been running for years were violating equal housing laws, especially if you start changing out gender and age here, right? So they had to do a much more general version of this ad, of the way we run these ads. So they do give us a few other things though. If we wanted to, we could do only Spanish. Why they leave this one turned on, who knows? But watch what happens here. When I type in Spanish and all versions of Spanish, my audience just changed size. We want to focus on this because we're going to pay some attention to, we're going to pay extra attention to this audience size. It's important. So if I take Spanish off, it goes back to 1.9 million. But a quarter of the market is speaking Spanish here, okay? Just about 25% of the market, which is a lot. You know, there's a lot of Spanish-speaking people in Florida. And if you speak another language or something, maybe you speak Italian, and that's how many Italian people are in that bubble. Italian-speaking people, not too many. And so you can play with this and see what other languages you want to run it at. But if you wanted to run a special kind of graphic design, just targeted towards Spanish people, you could. If I type in English, all versions of English, 1.9 million goes to 1.8 million. I still have a pretty decent sized audience, right? Guys have any questions so far? You can unmute yourselves and ask questions if you want. We're going to move on to some other things. Guys, no, nobody has any questions so far? Okay. So one of the other ways that we can change the amount of people in this audience is by using this detailed targeting here. And this is also another thing that has been limited now that we're running a real estate ad. And so let's say we want people that are house hunting. That 1.9 million, 1.8 million just went to 120,000. And this is a pretty good targeting tool right here. So some of the other things, I'll show you something else. We're going to take that out. Let's say, actually, hold on a second. There's another little toy here. When I put in house hunting, if I click browse, I can see all, because we can only do interests, I can see all of the little things that I can start to narrow down with, right? And there's a bunch of stuff in here for real estate. But now that I have house hunting, if I click on suggestions, Facebook will give me some options that they could do. First time buyer, that's a popular one, right? First time home buyer grant. I don't usually run ads with that, but mortgage calculator. I like these three specifically. I've only got down to 170 here, but I like people that are house hunting and using a mortgage calculator because the calculator shows intent. It shows that they're pretty smart if they're thinking about budget. Maybe if they're a first-time home buyer, maybe a starter home would be something they'd be interested in. Now, the more things I add here, the higher my number gets, okay? So what I can do is, let's say I take all of these things out. Now, this is if a person is into home, anybody that's into first-time home buying, anybody who is a house hunter, interested in a mortgage calculator or a starter home. But if I take house hunting out of here and I decide to narrow the audience, I can add it here. I can add it here, and now my target audience is getting even smaller, actually. What's happening is now anybody who's a first-time home buyer and using a mortgage calculator and a starter home, or any of these are ors, it has to include house hunting as well. So anybody who's house hunting and interested in the starter home, or is house hunting and is interested in a mortgage calculator, or is house hunting and then is a first-time home buyer. Okay. You guys have any questions about that, the way that's set up?
Got it. Mhm.
Okay. So I play with this a lot, and I run a bunch of different ads with different types of audiences in here because I'm trying to figure out which audience is the best, because Facebook's not actually going to tell us. What I can really tell you, my full disclaimer is even if you run these ads, that doesn't mean that they're actually going to convert. And so, although this is a beginner's class, we have ways around that also. And we're gonna have to talk about that later, actually, forgive me. So I'm gonna take this out here, I'm gonna put it back. House hunting here. And I'm not actually gonna run this ad, I'm just doing this as an example, so we have something in here to work with. So remember, this part of the ad is who is seeing it, right? And Facebook has it set up where all of these things are in place, right? Open this up here. These are all of the places that Facebook wants to run these ads as a default. Okay. So you guys know Instagram is owned by Facebook, right? Messenger is Facebook and Instagram at this point. They've merged that product into both products. They have continued to talk about merging WhatsApp into this as well, because companies, big, government facilities are talking about breaking up all these companies. So Facebook is rushing to combine them all into one product ultimately, right? Audience network is a little bit different. If you've ever been looking at Facebook and they have like some sort of an article on there or something, and you click on that and it brings you into another page, that's basically what audience network is. And I don't want to run ads in all these places. For example, stories have become super popular on all of these platforms. LinkedIn has them, YouTube's got them, ESPN has them. I mean, everybody has these stories. But when we get to talking about graphic design, we're going to build our graphic design on a 1-by-1. Stories has a completely different aspect ratio on their graphic design. The resolution is, not the resolution, but the shape of the ad is completely different. It's a long rectangle, where we run things on Facebook, it's going to be a square. Facebook wants a square. They do now, at least. I've been through the ringer through the years uploading images to Facebook and them not taking them because they're the wrong sizes. But now Facebook and Instagram ads are they're taking a square on all of them, luckily. They're making life easier for us. So if I build something that comes in a square, I'm not going to run it for stories. So I'm going to off-click on stories. Forgive me. Off-click. I don't want to run stories in any of these. I'm not running it on in the video section. I don't want to run it on search. I don't want to run it on the in articles, and I don't want to run it on any of these. What I am going to run it on is just Instagram's feed, news feed, and Facebook's news feed. It's the only place I run the ads. Now, if you want to run it the way Facebook has it as a default, you know, you have my blessing and everything, but this is just the way that I'm running mine. You know, if you substituted me with 10 other people that come in here, they would show you 10 different ways to run this ad, and they all work and they all don't work at the same time. Facebook can be really finicky at times. I've been running these ads pretty consistently for a good 5 or 6 years here, and it's still challenging sometimes to get them to work right. So we're basically at the bottom of this page, right? So we know who we are running the ad to, but let's see what they're going to see, what we're running this at, right? So remember, I just told Facebook I'm running that via a Facebook page and an Instagram page. I will pair this Instagram page to this as well, and now we're all set here, right? Real quick, anybody want to ask any questions right now? You ever do any of these before? No?
No.
No?
I'm doing the class, but
No.
I'm actually trying to set up. I don't know what happened with my manager account.
I know what you mean. Okay. What's your name?
Alfredo,
Alfredo? Brian, nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
So, okay, guys, Facebook gives us lots of options in here, lots of options. So we can run a single image. We can run a single video. We could run a carousel. I'm sure you guys know what carousels are, right? It's multiple photos that you swipe left and right for. And a collection, we're going to leave this alone for sure. We're going to leave these two alone as well. And we're going to go nice and simple for this. So I'm going to add my media. I'm going to add an image. This is a bunch of images that I have already loaded up into this. And let's just go with this because it's the last one here, right? This is from another ad I was running. Yeah, that's a mortgage ad, but actually we're going to, hang on a second. So what? So let's go to our KV Core page. I'm going to go to KV Core. You guys know this software. I'm going to click on this. It's going to bring me to that website that KV Core has already made for me. Because remember, I told Facebook that the destination for this is going to be a website. All right. So I'm going to come down here. And I'm going to paste that website into there. And it should substitute the image unless, hang on a second. Okay. So this is the image that just uploads from this, right? From the website. It just auto-populates the images from that website. Because when I go here, that's what it is. And I don't know, that's not really going to necessarily be an engaging, you know, an engaging photograph. So what I do is I go make my own images and my own graphic design. And so what I tell you guys before we take the class here is we're going to shift gears here. Part of the curriculum is to get an account at this thing called Canva. This is the homepage of Canva. I'm using a pro version. This is free. It's basically a free graphic design software. It is online, it is browser-based, and it is awesome. Canva, I use Canva every day. If you guys watch my online videos that I make for you guys every day and upload to my agent account, everything that's in there is I build in Canva. I'm sorry, we're still loading. The internet's a little slow. But this is what Facebook had come out and recently said. They said this is the way they're suggesting our ads look like, at least some of them. So this is super easy to make, guys, okay? Super easy to make this. Just look at what we have here, right? As the bottom mat, right? We have a photograph on the bottom. We have this thin border right here. We have this another interior border with the white. We have a logo. We've got this blue box, and we've got white text on top of it, right? It's total of, including the photo, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements are on this, okay? I don't know what's going on with that homepage, but so look at this here. I recreated this exact concept to this one right here. Does this look that much different than what Facebook is telling us we should have them look like? Probably not, right? I did it this way on purpose to mimic it almost exactly, right? I took this is an open source photograph I can pull right in from Canva. There are some other sources as well, so I can't get in trouble for the photo. And you know, I got these little things on the corner here. It's not exactly there. I did the border myself, and these La Rosa logos I pull in right from my agent account page. And this is super easy to make, guys. I mean, some of you guys may have graphic design background, you know how to use like Illustrator and Photoshop. I don't know how to do all that. I don't have a graphic design background, you know, and I'm not going to college for 4 years to figure out how to use Illustrator. And so this is as easy and as simple and as clean as it gets. Now, if you want to do more complex things that look a little bit more like this, not that it's necessarily that much more complex, something like this is the same thing without that white border. It's just this, but instead of a photograph, it's a video. Also, guys, not very difficult to make. I can make this in less than 5 minutes, okay? So watch this, guys. You guys feel like unmuting yourselves and talking a little bit? I'm gonna play a little game here. For anybody who's brave enough to talk online. Just kind of kidding. I ran ads on these 3 videos here, right? On this one, I'm sorry, this one. So I ran it on this one, and this one. I'm going to show you them, and I'd like you to tell me which one you think better, which one did better than the other. So keep in mind, I'm running these in New York, in the city area. I'm from Long Island originally, so I'm running this in the whole city area, Northeast Jersey, Southern Connecticut, Nassau County, and half of Suffolk County. And I ran these three videos. This is the first one. All right, drone picture of some houses. This one. And then this one. So, in your opinion, guys, which of these videos do you think did better than the other? Now, you can unmute yourselves and talk a little bit if you want.
I would think the first one.
First one? Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, the first one looks nice.
Anybody else? First one. Anybody else?
For me, the first and the second one.
First and the second one, okay. Anybody else? Okay, so it's not even close. It was the first one, and it wasn't even close. So keep in mind, I'm constantly running these little experiments like this because at the end of the day, I don't know which one's going to work better, and I don't really care. I don't have any ego connected to which one of these is going to do better. I just know I need one of them to work. Okay, and I'm running all of these at the same time in a video in a format we're not going to be able to get to today. This is really like a beginner's class. But I want to emphasize how important all this graphic design is and how easy this really is, right? These videos are free online, and you just drop them in and off they go. I ran this one. It didn't do well. Maybe it was this one. That one didn't do well at all. These are other ones that I, look at and decide on whether or not I want to actually run them or not. That one did okay. Some of these are images, some of them are not. I really like that image. I think it's actually a fake image. But they look like photos because that's the way Canva has them just sitting there like that, but they're actually videos. And when they scroll up, notice I have this as a transparency on the background here just to get my letters to pop off of it. Every time I upload a video, I'm very curious, where am I going to be putting my logo? The way I usually try to teach this class is we come in here and we start setting up graphic design from the minute we begin. And then at the end of it, we run all of that graphic design in multiple ads. And these are very easy to come by, guys. These are not hard to find, these types of videos. I'll get into that in a second here. So what I would do is, coming back into the Facebook ad here, I need some images, right? So I run I run mortgage videos, mortgage ads through this account. So we're going to stick with that just for the purposes of this class. So one of the other things that Facebook gives us, let's go like this. So when I type this in, you'll notice I have my primary text, my headlines, and my description. So if you notice in a Facebook ad, this is the Facebook preview, this is the IG preview. Text 1 is on top, text 2 is below, but it's also in bold, and then here's text 3. IG doesn't put it up here. IG takes this text 1 and puts it down here. Okay? So I'm very aware of what the audience is looking at and where it's going to be, and it helps me decide on where I'm going to put these things. We have to get to something else here as well. So remember, as I was saying, that I build all this graphic design stuff like this, right? So what I do is I sit at home and I get my kids to sleep, or I get them fed, and I sit and I work on stuff like this, right? And this one's a little bit more complicated than some of the other ones, but this one actually indexed really well. So what I do is I sit here and I make all of these without ever touching this software at all. This software is the last thing that I do. And I sit here and I just make a bunch of these things, and I'll look at them, then I'll go walk my dog, and then I'll come back and I'll think about what I think about. I'll go to sleep, I'll wake up the next day, I'm like, what do I think of this image right here, And then I'll come down here, I got a couple of other ones, right? Nice looking video. I like this one because this one's the same La Rosa blue as my border, and this one as the logo. Canva gets my colors to match. And so I sit and do all of this work separately. But some of the other work that I do separately as well is this. What I usually do for this class is I have got a Word document here that I have constantly, it's like a living document here, right? And so I go to some other place and I take all of the stuff that I need to add into these text areas, because look at this. Facebook is going to give me a bunch of options. I can run up to 5 on each one of these. Just added this about a year ago. And so I go to a place where I copy all of that from other people's ads, because I don't need to have trademarks to do all this. All I need to have is the ad copy. And I know, I'll show you where to get all this. I already know that a lot of this is being run by like major companies, because, for example, this is a website you're going to want to come back to again and again and again. It's called Facebook Ad Library. If you type it into Google, you can find it. You're going to go to housing. You're going to type in real estate. And if you know anybody else's Facebook page, you can type it in here and see their ads. This is something that Facebook did for their transparency a couple of years ago. Twitter had one of these, and they just got rid of it this month. Hope Facebook doesn't get rid of it. So whoever this is, Howard Hanna, they're up north somewhere. There's some real estate company running Facebook ads, and they are running at least 170 ads at a time. And so when I see major companies running big time budgets at Facebook ads, I know already that they are not writing any of this ad copy. They're not doing any of the graphic design. And they are just paying a major marketing company to write all this stuff for them. And so what I do is I will come in here and I will copy this whole thing, and then I will paste it into my little Word document. So, and I'll where was that? I'll zip through these things and find something that I like. I like one more than the other. And here they're using an emoji. Here it's the same thing. They're not using an emoji. A little bit of a different ad copy here, right? And so I'm going to sit and do all of my graphic design work in one sitting, and I'm going to do all of my ad copy in another sitting. And so when it comes time to building this Facebook ad, I don't have to think about this, and I don't have to think about this at all. Because it takes a whole nother part of your brain, it feels like, to build this whole thing. And this is a whole creative thing only. So I do all of my creative work separate from when I'm building my ad. Okay? You guys have any questions about that? That's just the way I work personally, because that's the way that's the way it makes it easier for me to be able to do that.
Are you allowed to copy and paste?
Yes, you are. Those are
Okay.
not copywritten, so you can take those. They don't have
How do you know
trademarks
they're
or
not
anything. It's all they're doing is it's just like an advertised speech. You know, it's not like saying just do it, like where Nike has that trademark. That's not what we're doing. We're not taking a just do it. We're just taking something that somebody threw out there, so to speak.
Okay.
Are you selling a home in 2021? They can't trademark that, you know? So, like I was saying, I'm gonna do all of this work up front, ultimately. If you guys want a copy of this Word document, I'm happy to give you one. You're gonna have to send me an email and then I can reply to it with this. And I give you, in here, I give you the audiences of all of the ads that I'm running at, all the detailed targeting, all this stuff. All right. And it's long, you know, it's 10, 15 pages. I'm always adding to it. So like I said, I do all of this work ahead of time, guys. And I keep my headlines separate. Got a bunch of headlines I decide to choose from. And I'm always adding some. When I do mortgage work, I have a different document for all of the mortgage ones that we do. And so when it comes time to coming in here, all I do is I come in here, I copy that, and I paste it here. And then I come back here. Well, does that work? Come back here. I usually use two monitors. I'll just try this instead. Backspace there. And Facebook will give me all of these. I can run up to 5 options here, right? And remember, this is in bold down here. So I want to like kind of maybe make a statement here if I can. I can use emojis here if I wanted to, right? Just X out these because, you know, when it comes time to run yours, you're going to run a bunch of other, you're going to run however many you want to, right? This is me talking about the Florida real estate market because, you know, I don't know if you guys know anybody up there in New York, but there's a lot of people that are not happy up there and they want to move. And there is a major, major exodus going on in that New York City area. Better believe it. I was talking about that in the last couple of months. Facebook, New York City had about 500,000 people leaving it. And there's about 8 million people that were living in that city area. So it was like 16% of the amount of people that live there had just up and left last year. And they're not the only ones. Jersey's having a major exodus right now, Illinois, California, and they're coming to the 3 biggest states they're going to are Tennessee, Texas, and Florida, guys. So okay. So right here we I put my little ads here. My little ad copy is in here, right? I'm just going to leave this empty because it's optional. Other bottom one is optional as well. And then my website is here. I can change my display link, learn more. Sure, why not? I have a pixel set up, but don't worry about pixels. It's the thing for a whole nother day. So, okay. And that's kind of about it for the first part, for the first ad, so to speak. Anybody have any questions so far right now on what we're looking at and what we've just done? We've gone through quite a bit. No, nobody? Okay. So let's talk about some other things then. So remember I was saying, I don't really know which one of these is going to work. Is it this one that's going to make an impact on this audience? Is it this one? You know, I was looking at this video for a little while. I kind of liked it for a little bit. And then I was thinking to myself, I don't know. It kind of looks like the sun is already set. It's a little dark. I don't know. Maybe it's not the right video, you know? But I'm not the right audience. I'm not the audience. The audience is going to decide if they like that video or if they like this one. I personally like this one a lot because it's the beach. It's beautiful. I'm the kind of guy I like the beach. Audience may or may not like it. But like I said, I'm not really as concerned about that because all I want is leads. I don't really care at the end of the day which one of these is better or which ad copy works. I just need to know which one it is. So I have to test this, right? I have to test this, but I can only run one graphic design, right? I mean, I can run more if I run a slider or carousels. If I run carousels, yeah, sure, but this isn't enough. You know, they're only going to look at this once and they're probably not going to slide through the rest. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. But so what I end up having to do is I'm going to have about 2 or 3. I'm going to have a minimum of 3 of these that I want to run with, you know? And so what I'll end up doing is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to duplicate this ad. I'm going to duplicate it twice. And this is where naming our ad starts to come into play. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to call this, forgive me. Call this audience 1, pick 1. Okay. I highly recommend doing this because it can get pretty confusing in here sometimes. So audience 1, pick 1. Well, actually over here, we're just going to go audience 1. That's the ad set. And now here in the ad, I'm going to call this one audience 1, pick 2, and audience 1, pick 3. And what I'm going to do is, now I've duplicated these ads, so they're exactly, I'm running 3 of the exact same thing, right? But what I'll do is I'll come in here and for pick 2, I will change media and I'll go with this one. And right, Facebook wants a square, we give it a square. And I will come in here, I'll change media again. And I don't know, I'm just picking these at random here, right? Facebook wants a square, it gets a square. And so when I see on pick 1, and what I'm going to do is over time, we can do this more in more complicated ads. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to duplicate this one again, and then I'm going to leave the pictures and all I'm going to do is change the audience. Okay? Guys, have any questions on that? Going pretty basic here, guys. I'm trying to go as slow as I can so you can try and catch it all.
We try.
I know. This is why we give the class in person, because it's a lot easier to do this in person. I can go over to your computer screens and I can say, click one button.
Yeah, it's gonna have to see the record a few times.
Yeah, well, it being recorded, you can go back and watch it a few times.
That's
does
good,
help.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Okay. So let's come out of here for a second. And let's talk about what it takes to build some of this graphic design stuff. So I have a pro version of this, like I said, I think it's, I don't know, $100 a year or something. And so I'm going to create a design and I'm going to come in here, I'm going to go to custom size. And remember, Facebook wants a square, so I'm going to give it a square. So I got it by 1,000 by 1,000. Forgive me, I already had that up there. And so what I'll do is, you can come to photos. If you watch my morning videos, you're gonna see that later because I'm using these photos for that. And so let's just say I need a picture of a house, right? I come to photo and I search house. If I want to get real narrow, I can search house, Florida. Maybe I find a good one, right? Okay. I think I've used this one already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it to fit just right. Canva is really nice like that. And I'm going to see how much of that house fits, right? I'm going to lose part of the edge. And if I double click it, I can move that house around a little bit. Maybe I want to catch more of the driveway and see what that looks like. Got some open space here. I can catch more of the garage. I'm going to center it to some way that I like it, right? And I'm not saying I would definitely use this house. I'm not sure what I think about it. See, like even this house might be better just because maybe it'll fit better into that one square. Remember, I'm stuck with a square, even though that this is a rectangle. Does this work? Maybe. Let's just go with it so we have something to work with. So now I'm going to put I'm already asking myself, right? Where am I putting my logos? Right? Here's everything from this morning's video. And what I do is when I come down here, I already have my La Rosa logos already in here. So I'm asking myself, what pops off of this blue background? It's a nice blue background. Will the blue pop off the best? Maybe not. Maybe it's getting stuck over there, but maybe the white, probably the white, because I got a nice contrast between those backgrounds, right?
Yeah, white looks nice.
Okay. So maybe I just put this here. And remember we were using a border earlier, right? So I'm going to come here and go to shapes. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, get a border, and watch this. I'm going to show you a trick before we do borders. Leave the border there. I'm going to just upload this La Rosa logo here. I'm going to leave this right here for the time being. So I'm going to extend that border, but that's a little thicker than I want it to be. I don't really want it to be that thick. So I'm going to make it a little bit thinner. I'm going to pull it and then recenter it. And Canva gives me those two nice lines to do that. And when I come up here, I can change the color. And because I've got that La Rosa logo, I have the corporate La Rosa blue right there. I'm going to cut that off there. And then I'm going to have to change the position going backwards. So now this is on top of that. And now I can play with my logo a little bit more. Maybe I'll change the size. Yeah, I'm just spitballing here with this, you know. But now, pretty basic so far, right? All I have is one logo and this border. Maybe that border is even a little too thick for my taste. So let's extend it, recenter it again. Recenter it. I like that a little bit easier, a little bit better. And so now I'm going to come back to elements. I'm going to look at my shapes. I like this one because it has rounded edges. I got a thing about rounded edges. I think they're more palatable than sharper edges. To then change the width or the height of this, I have to make it a little smaller and then drag it over. I'm going to try not to get in. I'm going to try not to put that on top of things like doors, and I don't want to interfere with the welcoming of this image here. At least not immediately. Maybe I will see. So I'm going to go here to text. I'll add a heading. I'll grab this and drag it down, put it here. I'll change the color. And I'll type, what do you guys think it should say here? While you're doing that, I'm going to change the font. Okay. Buy this house. I don't know that I would necessarily say that, but I'm just putting it there to have something to work with, right? When I click this, I could change the letters. I like them a little closer together personally, but what I'm really looking for is ease of, it's got to be legible. It's got to be really easy to read, right? So I got it centered. And I mean, is this that difficult to do, guys? How long did that take? It was 5 minutes, right? So this is, yeah. How you doing?
The previous video that you put it in there, you said none of the three wasn't good. What was the reason that you said wasn't good?
One more, can you say that one more time? I'm having difficulty hearing you.
Those 3 videos that you posted before, you said it was not working, that wasn't good. Why do you think it wasn't good?
I don't know. I don't decide. I'm not the decider. The audience is the ultimately the one that decides. And so,
Oh, because of the view, okay.
so one of the strange ironies of all of this is this, watch this. This is how things start to get weird in Facebook. Let's say I'm going to run this ad. I'm going to run this to an audience of 200,000 people. Let's say you make the exact same ad with the exact same parameters and everything is exactly the same. If that were to be the case, I'm going to be running mine at like 1,000 people out of those 200,000, because I'm not running it at all 200,000. But your ad is going to run different because it's running at a different 1,000 people. And we're both going to get different results on the same exact ad. So that's why this is a lot of experimentation, guys. And you have to really decide on what your budget's going to be to run on this, because if you nail a couple of them and they start to work really well, you start to get a lot of leads. And now it's like, well, how many leads can I really keep up with? But the first trick is actually finding one that's converting really well. And once we have one that's converting, just putting more money behind that one ad necessarily. You know what I mean? That's why there's no real perfect science to this. I wish there was. I wish there was like a real easy way where I could say, click button and just get leads. But, you know, so we have to do it all ourselves, so to speak, like this. So the experimentation is up to us. So, but you see how easy this is? Now, if you want to get more complicated, this is one thing, but like, if you want to get more complicated and do them, sorry. You want to do them where you instead of doing the other thing, you do videos, or you want to do something, this is just something that I made here. This is not difficult at all either. And all this is a couple of elements: my name, phone number, little logo, equal housing, my face, this photo, and this element that I saw, and I was like, oh, I could think of something cool to do with that. And I just started, you know, pink is, you know, popular with women. I think that women are going to be the ones in charge of whether or not a household moves. So I'm already designing this toward women, because I know I can't segment the ad that way, remember? Because Facebook took that away. So again, is this incredibly fantastic? Is this the most magnificent thing you've ever seen? It's not. Of course it's not. But what this really is, and what this is me supplementing the fact that I'm not going to be putting myself on video for this type of an ad. I'm going to suggest that you guys do that. Okay? I would suggest that you do put yourselves on video. But if you didn't want to, this is a very easy way to not have to do that. Okay? And you guys afraid of putting yourselves on video? Anybody willing to put yourselves on video? You can unmute yourselves and talk a little bit. Anybody afraid to put themselves on video?
Very afraid.
I understand.
We like videos.
You like videos?
Yeah.
Nice, I like that. So, okay. Look at it like this.
Brian, when you do one of those sign, you can choose even the house that you already post. I just have to put my pictures in there and I can go ahead and take it from you or anybody.
Yeah. Well, as long as you have rights to the photos, you can. But Canva and these other websites, they give us free photos you could just use.
Okay.
You know,
Free if you have the pro version.
if you have the pro version. Right. So if you do not have the pro version of Canva, what you can do is you can come to this website called Pexels. Everything that they have, half of the stuff that is in Canva is coming from this website. So let's say we want to look at a couple of drone houses, because there's pictures of houses, but there's also videos here, right? And so let's say, I don't know, I'm just put the cursor on here and let this go. That's a good video right there. Hang on a second. Let's look at that.
Everything from there is free, right?
Yeah, it's all free. It's all open source too. There's no rights connected to it. That's a decent video. If you put a bunch of words down here on the bottom, I'm downloading this. I'm going to use this later. You can too. Just because I'm using it doesn't mean you can't use it. You totally can. It's all free. And now what I'll do is, like I said, I'll just sit here and I'll scroll through. You know, there's a lot of stuff. Maybe, you know, this is just water. It's not even categorized correctly. Remember, I'm already using this video from another one, right? I like that video. Maybe these are this is like a golf course. This isn't really houses. This might be somewhere else. Some of these houses look like they're from Europe or something. It doesn't fit our market, so to speak, you know. So I'm looking for houses that are in Florida. I misspelled that. Florida house drone videos. Are there any in here? Maybe, maybe not. You saw I used this video on something else. Is that Florida? Probably not. It's a Swiss, so it's probably like, you know, somewhere else. So you have to just come through here and really just play with this and find something that you like, you know. But remember, just because you like it doesn't mean everybody else will. When I was running this ad that looked like this, hang on. Where is it? When I was running, sorry guys. Remember I was saying, which one of these videos do you like better? And it was either this one, or this one. My choice was this one and this golf one. I wasn't even gonna run this one, guys. But it always seems to work like that. The one I think is gonna work, my favorite one, never works as well. And it's always the one that I'm like barely interested in, that indexes higher than any of them. And I at times I can't even trust my own judgment. You're gonna have this experience too, because the audience is the one that decides on whether or not it's good, you know? So we just have to play with this. But remember, I do all of this work in one sitting. I do all of this work in another sitting, and then I just pull right from here. So when it comes time to make this, when I'm ready to deploy here, this is a 15-minute process. I can get 9 ads up in 15 minutes probably, because all it is a copy and paste at that point, you know? Because remember, if I build the whole ad, this is the way I used to work. I mean, I would build the whole ad, and then I would get down to this part, and I'm like, oh, Facebook's asking me for graphic design. I'm like, oh no, I'm like, I don't have any graphic design. What am I gonna do? Now I have to go design it just so I can even run the ad. So I was like, oh, this isn't gonna work after a while doing that. You know, like, you know, they say like in Insanity's doing the same thing and expecting different results kind of a thing. I was like, this is nuts. I can't do this very much, you know? So I would just sit here and do all of my graphic design work in one sitting, and then just to say, okay, these are my 3 or 4 favorite, and then run 3 different graphic designs. When I duplicate here again, I'll run it at 3 different audiences. So I have a total of 9 ads that I'm testing. Okay. So you guys have any questions so far on that? So we started the class at 4, it's a little after 5, and we're supposed to go till 6. If you guys still have some time, we can dig deeper, because there's a lot more to get to be honest with you. A lot of times I do this class in person, it can go, I was at the Lakeland office, it was 3.5 hours sitting there doing it. We don't have to do 3.5 hours right now, but it's about how much energy we all kind of have and how much attention we can give to it. How you doing? Pretty good. You have your computer with you? No? Okay.
I'm just starting now doing my Facebook business page.
Okay. So we're working in Facebook Business Manager. You want to have a Business Manager account. That's how I'm in this screens here. So let's say we were to change a few things in here. I'm going to delete this. Yeah, okay, okay. What do you got? It's okay. You can just leave it open, just set it right here. It's fine. Hang on, guys. Somebody in the class can ask some questions.
I don't want my manager account create any. They don't let me
Hey, doing?
create any. Give me this message. I don't know why. That is I'm trying to fix. I don't know why.
You might be disabled. You might not be. No idea, Matt.
I don't know why. So I'm trying to fix that. So I have already, but
So you want to see if you're disabled, or
I don't know.
something
How can
else.
I do
I don't know. Immediately, I don't know immediately, but there are lots of problems that can occur in here.
Sure. I think-
What I would do is I might create another account. With people who run e-commerce businesses, they have multiple Facebook ad accounts, multiple business manager accounts. Because they're gonna run it.
Create another for my current. Facebook
I
account.
would play with that to see if you can get it approved. It doesn't say you're disabled, so you're closer to probably having it work. I'm not exactly sure what's wrong there. What's your name? Hi Gladys. I'm Brian. Nice to meet you. What's your name in the back? Sorry.
Melissa.
Hey, Melissa. So, okay. Guys at home, you guys have any other questions right now? Are any of you able to follow along with your own software, actually?
Oh, a little bit. I just got the Pixels web page. Too.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
I'm
want
looking
to
at
you get a Canva account. Canva is money in the bank, guys. I use Canva every day.
Yeah, I have Canva.
So remember, guys, if you're willing to put yourselves on video, you know, they say fortune favors the bold. Like, okay, look at this. This is my YouTube page, right? If you guys have seen these videos before.
Of
know,
course,
you-
yes.
You've seen these videos before, right? Okay,
Yes.
this is today's video. My question is this, guys. Guys, am I gonna win an Emmy Award for this video?
No, for sure, no.
I am not. It's okay. I am not going to win an Emmy Award for that video. I am not going to become famous for these videos either, and neither are you guys. I got good news and bad news. No, like very few people are gonna actually see them. You know how long it took me to have the courage to make this video? I had the idea 4 years ago. I only started doing it less than a year ago. Because I was afraid to put myself on video. And then one day when COVID hit, I was just like, F everything, I'm going for it. I don't have a choice, you know? And the first couple times I did it, it's not that great. Even today, some days, it's still not that great. But I've got over 100 up there and I've continued to do it. And I recommend you guys put yourselves out there, just throw yourselves out there, no matter what, you know? So let's, I'm gonna delete these ones that I made copies of. Okay. Let's try something else. I'm having better luck with these types of ads here. So we were just running a traffic ad. Now we're going to run a lead generation ad. I have videos on my YouTube channel also. If you come here, you scroll down, these are my videos that are backed up, how to use Canva, Canva 2. Here is you gotta keep scrolling through, basics, Canva, basics 3. What was up here? Lead generation, what we're gonna talk about now is an intermediate class. Is there more? There's other things too. I haven't changed all, like how to read the CD, how to sell investment properties to millennials, renovation loans. I think I got USDA up here, maybe not. I'm gonna do that next month anyway, and I'll record that and I'll throw that up here, buying versus renting. So I do all of these to keep this up here for a resource for you guys. So you always can come back here and watch these and get caught up. So when we're talking about lead generation ads, right? I'm gonna change this here and in a second, hang on a second. Why don't we just start all over again? Why don't we not actually start all over again? We'll not. All I'm doing is I'm coming over here to campaign objective and I'm going to lead generation. And when I come here, it's going to say, hey, you changed something. So, okay, no problem. I'm going to go here, pair our pages, and Facebook is going to adjust a few things. It kept my map, kept my detailed targeting, but it kept my manual placements. It usually resets those. So, okay. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to come down to the bottom. I'm not going to make any real adjustments on this page, but down here on page 3 of the ad, right? Who is seeing it? I'm going to come here and it's going to say, okay, instant form. You guys have seen these all before, right? Where you click on something on Facebook or Instagram or something, and it's got a bunch of questions. you own a single family home, a condominium, a townhouse, a multifamily. But my question is, do you want to refinance? And are you probably refinancing a primary residence, second home, or secondary vacation home, investment property? You're most interested in this kind of a thing. So we're going to build our own lead form. This takes a little while to build. And remember, okay, I don't know how many of you guys have been running ads in the past, but we can go on Facebook and generate junky leads anytime we want. And we don't want that. We don't want fake phone numbers, fake emails, fake names, and you're still going to get that every once in a while too. Don't get me wrong. But on the form type, it gives us the option, do we want more volume or do we want a higher intent? We want a higher intent. And when it does that, it's going to give me this, when I click off of that, it removes this little screen here. Higher intent adds a review screen where it's going to say, okay, you just answered a bunch of questions for me. And so now what about if we just confirm that? And here's a little screen where you can confirm your name, first name, last name, phone number, and email, just to make sure it's exactly the way it is, the way it is, after you just put your effort into answering my questions, right? So let's start this from scratch. We're going to click create form. Okay. And I'm going to name this one, right? Kissimmee class. Doesn't matter because I'm not going to finalize it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click higher intent. Let me just check in here real quick. Okay, piece of cake. So I have an intro page. Can we use the image from the ad? Yes, it's easier. Or we can make it in Canva and upload it, but let's not get too crazy with this. It's going to ask me for a headline. And I'm going to say, sell your house. You don't sell, right? Sellers don't sell homes. Sellers sell houses. Buyers buy homes, right? Sell your house while sell your house, the value is up. Something like that, right? You guys can write whatever you want. And so in here, I'm going to add something in here. I think they make me actually. Fast. Any of the buzzwords I'm going to capitalize, right? Okay, sell your house fast. Maybe I'll do them all. I don't like it like that. I'm a stickler for punctuation and the way things look, you know? I can sell your house fast. Next, we're going to get to questions. This is where this is the way that I would do this. Before we write questions, we're going to this is us asking for their information. This is the way Facebook has it as a default, email and full name. I don't really like this. So I'm going to click off of that. I'm going to add their phone number. I'm going to pull that on top of email. And then I'm also going to use user information. I don't want full name. I want first name and I want last name. I'm going to pull that up to the top. So first name, last name, phone number, email. Email is almost a useless form of communication that I almost don't even want to ask for it at this point, but it is what it is. We'll take it. So what kind of questions do we want to ask? To ask multiple choice questions. And so we want to keep the questions short and we want to keep the answers short as well. We don't want them, this is what we don't want. We don't want like them to have to type in, watch this. How much is your house worth? So what I don't want is for them to have to click on a field and start typing in. I want to avoid that if I can. So what I want is I want to ask multiple choice. Yeah, you hit Control Backspace, that's what happens. I like keyboard shortcuts. So when do you want to sell your house? And now here's my answers. ASAP. Enter. 1 space dash space to 3 months. Capitalize months. Maybe not. 3+ months. And maybe I'll add another one, maybe 3 to 6 months, 6+ months, if you wanted to, right? Much. 3, I want it easy to read, right? That's why I put a space in between that dash. If I don't put those spaces, this is kind of what it looks like. The characters get a little crammed, and I don't want to be misunderstood. I want to be completely understood the second they read it. I don't want them to ask them, look at it and go, what do they mean? We want to be understood the first time they look at it. And then we'll say 6+ months. Okay, 4 options, piece of cake. Next question. Also, again, multiple choice. What do we want to ask them? We want to ask them this question. This is a popular question online right now. It's slowly becoming popular. When can you talk? 12 o'clock. I'm going to add a few more options now. 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or after 5 o'clock. Okay. And you know how that is when you're using this. I'm using an iPhone. You know, it's like you can see them, and it's like the wheel, like the Price is Right wheel. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that hard for them to scroll through that. When can you talk? Okay. Next question. So remember, I don't want to ask them too many questions. I don't want to throw too much at them. A lot of mortgage, a lot of ways that they start lead generating for mortgages, they'll ask 11, 12, 13, 14 questions. And what they know is that the more questions that they ask, the more motivated the buyer is. So Facebook's going to, push us away from asking too many questions, but let's ask them another one. What else would you ask here, guys, to find out if a person's motivated? What would you ask on your buyer consultation? These are buyer consultation questions that we're getting up front, so we have talking points when we make our phone calls, right? What else would you guys ask here? If you're online, you can unmute yourselves and say something.
How many square feet do they have for the house? How big?
How big is your house?
How big is your house?
What would our answers be if we're doing multiple choice? Remember, we don't want them to just input. Half of them,
Sure. 1,500 square feet. Maybe 2,000 square feet. 35,000. 2,500.
keep it simple here. Piece of cake. 15, 2,000, 25, 3,000. I like it. I like it. What else would you ask us? Do you need to buy another house? Sure. Do you need to buy another house? Simple. Yes. No. Maybe that's it. 4 questions. I asked some of my other lead forms, 5 questions, 6. I'll run tests on this. I'll run 3, 5, and 7 just to see if there's a difference. If I get more leads on the 5 or the 7, or I'm always testing everything, questioning everything, right? So, okay. We'll say, we will never share your info. All right, because they're saying, let the people know how, how their info that they're giving you will be shared, used or shared. We will never share your info. Okay, so next section. See, Facebook's even saying, if you ask too many questions, it may impact your submission rate. We know, so, okay. So now they need a privacy policy. So this is where we get this. Remember, we have our La Rosa page. Okay, go to our KV core page, go all the way to the bottom. Here's your privacy policy. Click on that. All right, here we go. Make sure you have your HTTPS, Control C for copy. And back here, paste the link here. Link text, we just say privacy policy, not like anybody's actually going to ever read that. And we do not need a custom disclaimer. And remember, here's our review screen, right? Because we're running a higher intent and then completion. You guys have seen all these before. Thanks, you're all set. You can just leave this if you want. You can just write everything, anything else in here too. But we are going to change this, and I'll show you why. Because if you remember correctly, hey, how you doing? We are not going, we have this, the destination to this ad is not a website like it was in the last ad. Our website, this is our website, right? For your personal page. We're going to take that, and this is where we're going to paste it into your link, right? So we can say view my website, call to action can just be shop the live MLS now. Okay. And that would be the message on the button. That's the call to action on that button. Because the goal is we want them in there shopping. We want them looking at houses, guys, right? Only in your KV core page, though. We don't want them looking at houses anywhere else. We don't want them on Zillow. We don't want them on Trulia. They're going to drop a pixel. They're going to drop cookies on their computer. And then you may lose them altogether. Because what happens if they go on Zillow and they submit their info? You're going to get called by 4 realtors. Like that night, 4 or 5 realtors, you know? And so if I were to use this, I would hit publish. But I'm not going to, because once they're in here, I can't delete them. So this is what you would do. You can work on that. You can work on multiples. Notice I got a bunch of different ones that I run here. You know, I'll play with it and I'll experiment on all these depending on what kind of ads I'm running. And now that's about it, right? Because remember, we already had our headlines and our primary text that you will have put in. And then once you run ads, you will have a way for you to download that as an Excel file. If you want, you can upload that Excel file into your KV core. There's a way to do that, which we don't have time for really at this point. Okay, folks at home, do you guys have any questions? Any fears? Anything you want to talk about? Got any recipes for really good barbecue ribs you want to share? Just kidding, guys. Okay.
Hi,
So,
Brian.
hey, how are you?
I have a question. This is Facebook or Instagram because I came late.
Yeah, it's okay. So Facebook and Instagram are the same company. And when you come here, you can run ads at both of them here. That's what we're doing on this ad. We're running at both Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
So they both
Because
require the same shape of the grid. They both want a square. So we're running a square. Our image is always going to be a square for both of those.
Okay, I have Instagram business page, but not Facebook. So I have to create a Facebook page.
You can. There's a way to convert that. You could just do a quick Google on how to do that.
Okay.
And then what I'm running this in, I'm running this in Business Manager. Business Manager in the Ad Manager section.
Okay.
That's where you're getting these 3 tabs here. They just added this a couple of weeks ago because, you know, there's an iOS update that's messing Facebook up, and you know, Facebook hates Apple at this point. But it is what it is. So okay, this is one other thing you could do is this Instaform. I've been playing with this other format, but I have not had good results. Where instead of running a lead form, you can just run a phone call. And when you come here, instead of a lead capture form, you just put your phone number in here and they will hopefully just click a button and call you. You can run stuff that says, you know, speak to a live realtor right now. If you guys run that, please call me. Let me know how those are going. I would love to hear what your results are. I ran refi ads a couple of weeks ago with that, and I got no phone calls from it. But I'm definitely going to run those again at some point. I don't know, maybe this week, maybe at the end of the week. I'll try them again. And there's a time frame that you can run them at. So, because I'm not taking phone calls at 3 o'clock in the morning, no matter what. No matter how many refis they want to do. But so you can just have the phone call. You can have that ad starting at, 9, 10 in the morning. It'll turn off at 5 in the afternoon, at the amount of time that you're on call or whatever it is, So, okay. What else you guys want to talk about? You guys have any other questions about stuff? I can ramble on about these things for hours, to be perfectly honest with you. So what I would suggest, this is what I would suggest doing. This is your homework. I will come to your office and do this class again next month. I'm going to all of the offices basically, or at least a few of them, 4 or 5 of them this month to do this class. If you want to, how do I get this to move? If you want to come into Canva and start building some stuff like this, and then come back next month, or you want to, you want to start building things that look like this, or build things that look like however you want. I follow some realtors on Instagram and Facebook. They got some really creative stuff going. This is okay, don't get me wrong. I like to run stuff like this because it's clean, it's simple, it's classy looking, and it's just nice looking, I think, There are other realtors that got some very creative things going on. And it just depends on how creative you want to get in here. I'm showing you this just so I can show you, look, in 5 minutes, you can have an ad up and operational. You want leads immediately? This is the way to get leads immediately, So you can get more creative though. Like I said, when you want to build something like this where it has multiple frames, which the way that you would build something like this is, hang on a second, I'll show you how to build something like that. Starting with a clean slate here, you go to elements, and they have these things called frames. And so I built that one using a frame that looks like this. It's around here somewhere. Oh, was it this one? I guess it was. So I pull this one here. Pull that down. And now I just go to photos again. I'm just going to pick these at random. Hang on a second. I'll show you how quickly I made that one. So now there's that. I double click. I move it around. Hey, how about that one? We'll do this one. Drag it over. Okay. It's not going to let me pull them in here for some reason. I got to use a different frame for that. But this one can be your face and your contact info, right? Super simple. Might have my face in here somewhere. Right, here's all my stuff from my morning videos, right? Because I do all my morning videos in Canva. No,
So we can pick any picture that is free in Canva, or we can pay.
Yeah. So watch, we'll just use Lily because here's her picture. I can even make it bigger and then put it to the backwards so it's behind. Ah, phooey, what just happened? Undo. Okay. I'll live with that for now. And then I can just come in here with text. I would say Lily, DeMarie. I'm going to change that to white. I'll change the font to something that I like, make it bigger. I could just simply take this again, copy it, so I keep the exact format that I have it. Forget for a second. Let's say I just want to make that nice. I get my letters exactly how I want them to read, just how I want, right? And I want that to be the exact format of all of my font. Highlight, copy, paste down here.
Yes, Canva is more easier than
Super easy.
the other in Facebook.
I mean, you see how easy this is? Super easy. So now what I do is I'll take this, I'll get the lines to come a little closer. Now, I mean, I would sit and play with this a little bit longer, but I mean, you see how easy this really is here. I don't know about the purple, maybe I'll pick something else. You know, a red that matches her shirt here or something, you know? But this is not difficult, guys. Now, that other thing I have sold in here, I come into elements. Sold, boom, here it is, all right? Put that right here, stamp. That sucker is sold. Because you guys are good realtors, you can sell houses quick, right? Pow, pow, your house is next. Whatever you want to put in here, you know what I mean? But this is, guys, that was like 5 minutes worth of work, you know? You can easily sit at home in an hour, make 4 or 5 of these, and run all different versions of it. You know, if you want that to be a little bit bigger, you just pull it, you know? If you want them to be the exact same size, I just delete it. I make one, I like it like that. Okay, great. Click off of it, click back on it, copy, paste, whammo.
Brian,
Yep,
do you pay for Canvas or do you use the free version?
I do. I use the pro version. I use it every day. So I immediately said to myself, I see the value here. And it's like, I think it's $90 a year or whatever it is, but it's worth its weight in gold for sure. I use this
All right.
software every day. So for me, it's worth it, you know? I'm building things
Okay.
that I'm using in my videos and stuff. So, you know, and I'm everything that you see that's posted in, everything you see posted here in the, where is it? This is it. Everything you see here in this La Rosa mortgage page, I build all of this myself in Canva, right? DACA, FHA, this little refi boom thing. I made this in 5 minutes, by the way. This was not a challenging thing. You know, this is just an upload of one of the one, you know, class that I had uploaded, right? DACA is back now for FHA, used to only be conventional. Where's that other one I was going to show you? Okay, is it here? Hang on a second. No. I'm going to show you this one now because you're one of the only people that know about this yet. And so by coming into this class, you are going to catch a little something here. These are some of the refi mortgage stuff that I run. And so Florida bond is basically coming back. I'll announce this week. I haven't announced it yet, but it's back. Okay?
That's so funny.
That's kind of funny, right?
Yes.
You gotta have a sense of humor with these things, you know? And so, you know, this is basically back as of right now. We haven't made the announcement yet, but I will at some point this week, you know? But this was a photo I took from Google, and I took all of this from another thing. I just copied the whole thing and pasted it in here. I wrote this and I wrote Florida. You know, like this and Florida are separate fields, you know? And I do it in there to make it nice and snug and everything. So not hard, guys, really easy, you know? But I would try to learn the skill set of building things in here as easily, as well as you can. And they don't have to look, mine are not fantastic. I'm aware of that. I'm aware that my work is not like I'm not going to win any awards on this work. I just need to get something up and operational so I can get leads. I don't need it to be like world class. You know, you can go on Fiverr and get people to build this kind of stuff for you all day. You know, I'll show you something else about like what companies do and what they want to do, what they want to charge for certain things. You know, I'm talking to this one company, they tell me they're going to build leads for me. And I'm like, okay, can I see what your graphic design looks like, considering you want $3,000 a month? They go, yeah, sure, I'll send it to you. And I go, okay, cool, let me take a look. And this is what it was. This is the whole thing. It's the photograph, the logo, these words, and a circle. And I can tell already they're probably doing it in Canva. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. This was in Canva, right?
Should be.
It's got to be, man. They probably did this on Fiverr, or they just got somebody that, you know, they just make it. This is another one, by the way. They wanted $3,000 a month for this. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I cannot give you my money. I can't give you $3,000 to make something like this. You know? So let me just say this. Like, I'm trying to put something together that is not, that's easy to look at. Now, if you want to come in here and put something in here that looks like, you know, that's got a bunch of this kind of stuff jumping around, you know, and I mean, you have my blessing to run stuff that looks like this all day long. It's just my opinion now. This is just me on my soapbox that Facebook and Instagram are already chaotic enough places where, like, I just don't want anything else jumping out at me anymore, you know? So I don't run any of this really highly flashy stuff. You know, you have my blessing to run your money at anything you want. Don't get me wrong here. You know, if you wanted to do just like one little moving thing just to grab their attention, sure. But I personally wouldn't put a bunch of too much chaotic stuff, you know? And by the way, when you do this, this turns from a photograph to a video now. You have to download it as a video if you're going to do that because it's moving, you know? But that's just my little pieces of advice. Now, do a bunch of flashing images work? They might. I don't know. They probably do for some audiences, but I just don't want to run a bunch of chaotic stuff. I prefer something that's a little classier looking than that. You know, something that's at least calming to look at. You know, like when you look at this one, this is an easy image to look at. You know what I mean? It's kind of a break from all that other stuff that had just been jumping out at them a second ago on Facebook. It's nice and calm. I'll show you a refi ad that I run that actually does pretty well. I can find it. When I run mortgage ads, I run stuff that looks like this sometimes. Oh, sorry. I run stuff that looks like this sometimes. Nice and calming, baby. Nice and smooth. Nothing too crazy. People are already stressed out as it is. Doesn't even have a house in it. But people will stop and look at it because it's calming. I even run something that looks like this. I ran these. This one didn't do as well as I was hoping. Ran these. No, they didn't do as well as I was hoping. But I run some that look like this.
Brian, I have a question.
Sure.
So that video, you go to your pictures that you upload from your device, but not in templates, Canva?
Okay, so I don't use templates, but you totally can. And a lot of them look really good, by the way. Yes. I mean, I think a lot of the templates in Canva, the people who work at Canva are doing really good work there. I'm a big fan of their site, let me tell you. And so the challenge is with templates is that a lot of people are using them. And when I see them on Facebook and Instagram, a lot of times I'm like, I know you got that. I've seen that ad before. I've seen that template before. If you want to just take some of the elements and swap them out, or take some of the design cues, go for it, you know? But I don't know that I would use it exactly in its exact form. You know, but they've got a bunch of new ones. They're always putting new stuff in here. So if you're one of the first ones to use it, I mean, great. You know, if you scroll down with the pro version, they have videos right here. And not always as good. Some of them are not always that great in here. Let's just see what this one looks like. Is that actually moving? It's kind of moving. But you just have to sit in here and find something that appeals to you. Remember, if it appeals to you, it probably appeals to somebody else too. You know? So this isn't really, I mean, the camera's moving sort of, but I don't know. You know, I look at it, 1 minute I like it, the next minute I don't, and I'll just delete it and go again with something else. House. It could be more than that. It could be a kitchen. All right. We don't, you know, we want a home kitchen. We don't want like a restaurant kitchen. And I'll come in here, I'll find something that jumps out at me, and I'll put all types of searches in here. It takes a while sometimes, but I put on some music that I like. You know, I'm relaxing while I'm doing it. I'm in a calm state, you know, and I find something that I hope that I'm willing to try at least. So getting closer to the end of the class here, guys, but if you know, one of the things teaching this class, I've been teaching this class for years here in the offices. What I would say is when you're writing your ad copy in here, you want to be pretty clear as of what your message is. That's something that I would say. And some of the mistakes I've seen people make is that they'll write something in here trying to get the buyer to come to them, but it's not even really clear what it is that they're offering. You know, and I think that you might do better if you're just a little bit more direct. You want to create some intrigue and get them to come in a way. But a picture of a house lets them know that you are talking about real estate, and anything else in here can be slightly vague, but not too vague, I would say. Show you where I got this one. See, it's straight on the other side and it's rounded on this side. When you come in here to elements, you go to shapes. That's this shape here. It's this shape. When I click on here, I rotate it. I size it up the way I like it. I'll move it over. I'll change the color and then just extend. How you doing? Okay, that's all that really is right there. All right. You guys have anything you want to talk about? Any other questions for now?
How you put a picture or pictures in the that flyer?
Yeah, sure. So here's this is what I'm working with here. I go to photos, I go to house, and I click on it, and then it appears. And then what I'll do is I have to drag it up, and I have to extend the sides. I have to make it fit. Now, when I pull down to make it fit, notice I'm losing the left and right sides. And now I'll double click it, and I can move it around a little bit to shape it the way I want. Do I want more of the left, more of the right? I got the edge of the house. This is kind of where I would leave this one probably. But remember, I'm looking at the photo. I'm already asking myself, where am I going to be putting my logo? Right? So I would come in here. I'm going to come up to my logos. Yeah.
The free version, they have to upload picture from upload, not already with the camera, because if not, then we have to pay.
Right. So if you're gonna use the free version of Canva, you have to upload those photos from Pexels or Pixabay. And so what I'll do is I'll put my logo in here and I'll go full screen. And I'll say, what do I think? And I'm like, okay, pretty good. You know, I got some space down here that I'm going to put my words. So it's okay that I have like blank space here, that white space. And I know what I can do is I can make this a little bit bigger. And I can get a little bit more specific on exactly where I want to put that logo. Maybe I want to put a border, maybe I don't. And I'm like, all right, it's like eyeball it here. I'll come back to fit. I'll go full screen again. What do I think? What do I think? I think that works right there. I think that La Rosa pops off the white, the darker letters pop off the lighter background. And I think that this would work right here. Now, what I would do is I would come in here. I'm going to skip the border because I have a limited amount of space up here. I go back to elements. Keeping things uniform. I'll pick this one little rectangle with the rounded edges. I'll bring it down here to that area where I know I have that white space. I'm not interfering with the front door. I'm very much thinking about what it is that I have here. And now I'm going to change the color. I'm looking for that La Rosa logo to give me my classic corporate La Rosa blue. I can make it even transparent a little bit. So if all I'm doing is giving myself a little pop off the edge. And I'm going to center it. And I know I'm centered with that red line, right? And I'm going to throw some letters in here. Actually, I'm going to make this a little bit skinnier and drag it over and wait for Facebook to tell me that I'm centered, right? Come to text, headlines. I'm going to come in here. What do you want this to say, guys? Change my font while you're deciding. Guys, if this was your ad, what would you put in here? I like that font. I don't know. Well, the question we have to ask ourselves is this an ad that we're running at sellers or buyers?
For sale. For sale or your listing?
Like your house now.
Sell your house now. We'll just go with that. Again, remember, you can experiment with this all you want. And I surely do experiment with the ad copy and the photos and everything. And so what do we think? Now I got a lot of space on the top, not as much on the sides. And because I like to be very specific about the way I do things, maybe I'll extend that a little bit and then drag it over to get it centered again, right? Full screen, what do I think? Get a little bit more breathing room on the sides. It works, it's fine. Transparent. Look what we got here, guys. Photograph, logo, element, text. Done. This is a piece of cake, guys. This is so easily doable for anybody that I don't have. Remember what I said? I don't have any graphic design experience, guys. I didn't go to school to do this. All I did was learn how to use Canva. That's it. Okay. So, you know, if I wanted to do something that looked like this, but instead of that photograph, I wanted it to be a video because I think it's more eye-catching. That's what it would look like. You know, I got the sold on here or whatever, but that's it. It's a 6-second video or 6 or 7 seconds, whatever it is. And within this video, oh, started the whole thing over again. Okay. So I got this picture of the kitchen. I got this from Pexels, downloaded it and uploaded it. It was either Pexels or Pixabay. Right, we're on videos, not just photos, but videos.
What's the other place that you get this from?
Pixabay. This is the other one, guys. Pixabay. Some
Also, we can use those.
all free, all open source, yeah. So I come in here, hey, this is a nice looking kitchen, right? Maybe. And this is also, keep in mind, here's the video that I downloaded, right? Now, this is a nice kitchen, guys. Remember, this doesn't have the microwave over the range. This isn't the oven here. This is an upgraded kitchen. It's furniture cabinets, you know, granite or whatever this is on the top here on the countertops. This is an upgraded kitchen. This is not a 3-2 in a 1,500 square foot house, a $200,000, you know, vanilla cookie cutter house a builder made. This is a nice upgraded kitchen, you know? So what I do is I use an image like this to just sort my audience, hopefully. That like people that have money would identify this and maybe buy a more expensive house than something in that 100 to 200 range. Maybe you can sell a $400,000 house or $500,000 house just because they're the people that look at this and they're like, oh, I can afford that kitchen. I already know I can, you know? And so you can use images like this because remember, Facebook has taken our tools. Remember years ago, Facebook, when you would come in here, when you used to come in here in Facebook for detailed targeting, it wasn't just interests. It was like credit scores, net worth, how much liquid assets a person has. Facebook's got like a ridiculous amount of information on people. And they had to take all that away because we were violating equal housing laws, apparently. So we used to get really narrow on who our audience could be. And so now we have to use other things instead of that. So like some of the other things you can put in here is like money management. I like that. because people who are interested in money management are probably more affluent people than people who are not interested in this. People who don't have very much money aren't interested in money management because they don't have any money to manage, possibly. Affluent people have this problem. Affluent people are online looking for this stuff. You know, so I might add that indicator in there to just sort out that audience a little bit more, you know, or instead of putting it here, maybe I would narrow the audience by putting it here. But it's up to you guys to play with this. And I can show you, you know, if you want a copy of this, I can show you all of the different ways I've segmented these audiences. I'll show you something else here too. So this is another Facebook account that I use. Remember those ones moving to Florida? So I run this ad. Here are those videos. Again, here's the top 3 that did best. And this is what an ad looks like. This is what results look like. So let's just sort this by reach and impressions, right? So impressions are how many times the ad was shown. And the reach is how many people it was showed to. So this ad was shown 632 times to 353 people. So about each person saw it about 2 times, right? And out of all of these, I got 20 leads of people that submitted their information. I'll show you what this ad looked like. I ran this ad for $60. I got 20 leads for $60 for people trying to move out of the tri-state area up in New York. So remember, I'm duplicating, right? Going to try multiple graphic designs with multiple audiences. And this is what it ends up looking like an ad tree, so to speak, right? I have all of my things in here, all my stuff that I copy pasted. And I'm using an Instaform. And these were my questions that I asked. I said, oh, hang on. Okay. So I said, how soon? No, wrong one. Hang on a second. Sorry. Wrong one. Move to Florida. Okay. How soon? When are you moving to Florida? I'm not asking if you're moving to Florida. When are you moving? Right? Now you speak to kids in high school, you don't say, hey, are you going to college? You ask them, which college are you going to? Very different question. That's the exact mentality I'm bringing to this question. When are you moving to Florida? Because if you clicked on my ad, you already have intent. You know, you guys ever work in a restaurant? What do they do when it's time to serve dessert? You don't ask them if they want dessert. In fine dining, you're supposed to walk over and set the table like they are ordering dessert. You set the table for dessert and hand them a menu as if it's just something they're supposed to be doing, right? Same thing. When are you moving to Florida? ASAP, 1 to 3, 3 to 9, or 9 months, 9+ months. Do you need to sell a house first? I want to know if they need to sell a house. I know I don't have any part of that deal, but I know that that's going to be a delay if they have to sell a house, right? What are you looking to buy? Single family? Because I know if they click condo or townhouse, what does that mean? Does that mean something if they want to buy a townhouse or a condo? They're going to downsize. Maybe their kids are older and they've moved out. Maybe they want to simplify. And that's why they want to come to Florida, retire finally. You know, if they got a condo and a townhouse, they're thinking, man, I won't have to shovel snow. I won't have to mow the lawn. I don't got to, you know, cut palm trees, stuff like that. Why are you moving away from New York? That's definitely here. First things first, are you retiring? Is it the weather? New York has drastically changed in the last year, let me tell you. New York City has been torn to pieces. I don't know how many, I got friends up there still. One of them lives in the city. He says the city's been torn to pieces. Businesses are still not open. Restaurants, a lot of them are still not open. And the people that live there want out. It is not the same lifestyle anymore. So a third of the people clicked New York has changed. And almost half of them clicked other. And I don't know why, what that other is. I just put it there just to give them another option. And that's it. That was it. I think it's 3 questions, right? 4 questions? 4 questions. So when I have this that come through, I get 20 leads. By the way, out of that 20 leads, 18 were real. 2 of them were fake. 18 were the real contact info and the real people. Just like that. If you run them right, you can have leads ready to go. So what happens is they fill out that lead form. And I come here, I click this. I download, and it's going to download an Excel file. I don't want that CSV file, I want the Excel file. And here it is. I click it open. Yes, it always does that for who knows what reason. God knows what version of Excel that I have here. And here they are. And here are the answers. 3 to 9 months. Do you need to sell a house? No. See how many people said no? These are immediate deals, guys. They may not be now, but I mean, like 9 months, 3 to 9. 3 to 9 is fine. That's a decent amount of time. You can wait if you're a realtor, can't you? They want single family homes, retiring, other, cold weather, not too many, New York Exchange, only one of them here. Here's their name. Here's their phone numbers. Here's their email addresses. Piece of cake. All this other junk you don't need. Identifiers and stuff in Facebook. Okay? That's how easy it is. That took a weekend. I ran that ad for 4 days, 5 days. Remember, if you get enough ad, you have to ask yourself, okay, getting the ads, getting the leads are only like half of the deal. The other half is how good are you at following up? Because if you're not good at following up with your leads, then all of this is a waste of time for you and waste of your money. If you are not good at making phone calls, if you're not good on the phone, this may not be the right deal. Because the truth is, as realtors and as real estate, and me and mortgages, half of our job, more than half our jobs over the phone, especially now, right? And so you have to be able to follow up with these leads because you're paying for them, and guys that move down from Florida, from New York to Florida, they go for high purchase prices. They are not going for $200,000 houses a lot of times. They're selling their house for $400,000 to $500,000 on Long Island, and they're coming down here. They're like, whoa, 400 grand gets me a lot of house. 700 grand gets me like the dream house I always wanted. They buy expensive houses sometimes when they come from New York. So, following up with the leads are a big deal. It's a big part of it.
Question, how many days do you recommend for us?
Okay, it's a good question. So for guys listening at home, she was asking, how long do we run our ads for? So the answer is, it depends. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run an ad. I have all the ads turned off. I usually have them turned on for these classes. Forgive me here. What I do is okay. Let's look at this here. So this is an ad that I run, and here are all the analytics. This is where people get really caught up in Facebook ads and give up quickly. Excuse me. So believe me, I've given up on Facebook ads a dozen times and come back because I'm just not going to give up on them. So what happens is when I run this ad, I immediately get some data within the first 2 days. The first 24 to 48 hours are critical. I want to know what the data is that I'm getting. And that data is this. The more people that look at it and play around and look at it for a certain period of time, the more Facebook will show it. The more people that like it, the more people Facebook will show it. And as we can tell, these got shown a heck of a lot more than these. And this is exactly why we are running multiple versions of the ad, because if all you did was set up one ad and any one of these 6 ads, and this were the results that you got, you would be like, oh man, these things don't even work, And then you'd wonder whatever happened and how come only 6 people saw the darn thing, Nobody cared about that sunset video. Nobody cared about the golf video either, apparently. But when I show pictures of just houses and you run it on the right weekend, maybe, it just snowed again up there. And then all of a sudden they'll find something that the only ones that produced leads were here. By the way, if it produces even 1 lead, I don't turn the ad off. I leave that one on. If it even produced 1 lead, even if the numbers are all low, I just leave it on anyway. And what I do is, as time goes on, as I see it's gotten no engagement, I turn them off. Here, I start turning the ads off, and I'm like, okay, I can see that one has no traction. And so remember, there's a very little difference between these ads here. You know, it could be the graphic design, it could be the audience, it could be anything. It could just be that one group of people that actually watched it. Because remember, you're going to run it at 1,000 people, and if I run the same ad, I'm going to run it at a different 1,000 people, and we're both going to get different results. And that's why Facebook is like, you know, you throw your hands up in the air sometimes, like, what is this thing doing? You know, I still have plenty of ads that I throw up that I'm like, okay, I really think this one's going to work, and I get nothing out of it. You know. And it's just playing with it and playing with it and playing with it. But to answer your question, 48 hours, 3 days, I'm making decisions at 3 days for sure. I'll throw them up on Thursday and I'll look at them like, you know, morning, afternoon, evening. I'll check them even on the weekends too, you know, because I'm working on the weekends. And so I've already made decisions by Saturday. Sunday, I have them turned off. Saturday, I have some of them turned off if I think they've gotten no traction. You know. So, because look at like this, when we click on campaign budget optimization, which is here. When we come in here and we click on campaign budget optimization, it's going to send that money to different parts of the ad, depending on what has done well, and it'll throw more money at it. So if I'm running $10 a day at this, which is a number that I like right now, I will turn off all 6 of these eventually, and then just run the rest of that budget at these other 2, which is probably why it's that much higher. You know, it's probably what I did here. And because this was probably like at 70 and this was at like 5 or 8 or 10. And then the ones above it were at like 110 or something. And then I was like, I turned off all of them, and then it just boosted the performance of these 3. Because what this ended up looking like, if I remember correctly, was I had gotten 1 ad. The next day I'd gotten 2, next day I gotten 1 more, then I got nothing after another day, nothing after another day, and then all of a sudden, boom, 8 more, and then 7 more, something like that. That's the way they came through, if I remember correctly. I don't know if all those numbers are exact, but sometimes it takes a while for them to work. Something else is we used to run ads with another office that we had a decent budget. We're running about 2,000 a month at it, running 7, 8, 9, 10 ads at a time, like 7, 8, 9 of these at a time, getting a lot of feedback on what was happening. And the irony of it was that for the first week, we'd set up however many in a week, and then like 3 of them would work really well in the first week. And then the week after that, a different 3 would be starting to index better, and those other 3 would stop kicking off leads altogether. And then the week 3, that one in week 2 that was operational would stop working. The ones from the other week would work, and then the other ads would kick in then. And we didn't have any rhyme or reason as of why this was happening. You know, it was just like we were just letting it happen. I can't explain it. It's like a big mystery what's going on in here. And Facebook's not exactly forthcoming. There's no customer service on this. That's the worst of it.
We never know.
There's no customer service. I did have a conversation one time with one Facebook employee, and they strangely enough called me and the group I was working with. And I was like, you got me, Facebook's calling me right now. We were spending a little bit of money with them. Maybe that was why, but wish I had her phone number. Anyway, okay, guys, we're getting close. We're basically at the end of this class, but at home, do you guys have any questions you want to talk about?
Everything clear, thank you.
Okay, remember guys, Lily and I want to be your #1 source for mortgages. That's why I teach these classes, to be clear. I teach these classes because we want to be your mortgage partners in the best way possible. So I will even come here and teach you how to run these Facebook ads. And I already know that there's nobody else in this mortgage world that's going to come here and teach you guys how to run Facebook ads. Lily and I want to be the only people you do mortgages with. And we did 150 mortgages last year, and we know that we can handle all of the volume you guys have. And so, guys, thank you very much. I will come back and do this class next month if you want. I will have different ads to show you that I have run and different things. If it's my dream to have this as like a workshop where you guys bring in your ads, we all look at each other's ads, we say, hey, I did pretty well on this one. Remember, guys, we're not running them at the same audiences anyway, so we're barely even competing with each other. There's so much business out there that there's room for all of us to operate, you know? So if you guys are willing to share your ads, I would love to see them. I am more than happy to show you what I'm running and what the results look like. So you can always call me, you can text me if you want. I'm happy to answer any of the questions. I can share screens with you. I can at least give you an idea of what I think went wrong, if something went wrong. Am I always going to be right? Probably not, but I don't know. You know, I have some experience doing this for the last 6 years or so. So, okay. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for spending some time with me here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank
Guys,
you.
you're very welcome. This is recorded, so you can always go back and watch this too.
I subscribe already in YouTube
Oh,
in
thank
your
you.
classes.
Yeah, guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put those videos up there so you have talking points so you can talk about things with your clients and stuff, you know, what the market's doing, you know. I try to make them relevant as possible,
Thank you.
even when they're about inflation and stuff, but it all loosely relevant to all of us. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for your time. And like I said, you can always reach out to me and ask any questions you want. Okay, welcome.
Hello, hello, everyone. We're still here. I'm gonna stop recording and we're going to start with our lead generation class.